I thought we showed a lot of fight and a lot of energy for the first 22 and a half, 23 minutes of the game. And then, the energy level, the movement on offense fell off. We weren't scoring the ball. They went on a run, and we hung our heads. The energy level completely dropped off. When we subbed, the energy level didn't raise back up. So, we got to find a way to maintain our energy and fight for 40 minutes. SIU, give them a lot of credit. Diana Pierre's, she's one of the best players we'll face this year, probably outside of Florida State's team. She's probably the best player we'll face, to be honest with you. She's a load, and she can do it all. And she did tonight. I thought we really did a good job against her on the boards tonight, to be honest with you. She only had one offensive rebound. That was a focus. I was proud of the way we rebounded tonight. We really have to find a way to not have the mental breakdowns defensively. We focused. Obviously, Napier was their best player coming in from a guard standpoint, was really doing a great job. We did a good job on her. I warned the team, Gabelhausen can really shoot it. We got to be there. We lost her early in the game, but then after that, we did a nice job on her. But I warned them about Macklin. Macklin's freshman year, she went for about 30 on us up at their place. She's an All-Missouri Valley Conference caliber guard. She just hasn't had that type of numbers for the last couple of years. I believe that she sat out a year and she hasn't been the same player since, but she has nights. I told the team she'll drop 35 on you in a heartbeat. She hadn't shot the ball great this year, but in the scouting report we said, look, we're playing her. You got to contest. She makes one, it's on. She's probably going to hit 4 or 5 in a row, and that's what she did tonight. I mean, you look at her numbers. She was outstanding for them. Pierre was outstanding. I really felt like when Kyra Gullich had to come out of the game with her contact, that changed things on how they were going inside. We tried to defend it. Pierre was going off on us. We tried to go a little zone and throw them off and try to protect the paint. They knocked down a couple of threes against it. So then we had to get Kyra back in there with 3 fouls a little earlier than we wanted. We tried to do some things offensively to try to get the motion going. We were really moving the ball in the first half. And the start of the second half, we had a 6-point lead with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then they went on a huge run. I think it was like, I don't know, I'd have to look at the tape and everything, but I think it was like 26-5 or something. It's a long run, and we struggled getting the ball moving. We just held the ball and held the ball and held the ball, and I'm not sure why. I know our players recognize it, and they recognize it when it's happening. They're talking about it. We talk about it in timeouts, and they recognize these things. And, it just makes it difficult when we struggle scoring for that long because our energy, unfortunately, a lot of it with young players is predicated on whether we're scoring or not on the defensive end, and that focus just wasn't quite there. And then we get in the end of the game situation where we need to get to the free throw line. They have a 38% free throw shooter on the court, and then Pierre's 50%. So we were trying to get to the free throw line, and we hadn't played hard enough defensively. We're 6.5 minutes into the fourth quarter, and we still haven't picked up a foul. And we've got to get 5 to send them to the free throw line. So possession arrows our way. We had told them in the timeout to go hard after the ball, try to get a steal or a tie-up so it's our ball, and then foul so we can get to the free throw situation where we could send a 38% free throw shooter to the line. And by that point, it got down to about a minute left before we got to that point. So we never had that chance to try to make that run.
You look at the stats. You guys won every quarter but the pivotal third.
Right.
They shot 11 for 16 from the field in that quarter.
I mean, it was
inside outside.
It was everything. Yeah, it was. And it really started to me with Pierre starting to be assertive. What you have in the first half, 4 points, and we dominated the points in the paint in the first half. If you look at it, we won points in the paint for the game by 2. And if you had told me that stat was going to happen and that they were only going to out-rebound us by 1 and we would only have 14 turnovers, which was still too many, but if you told me we were going to have those numbers, you're probably looking at a win. But the critical plays, man, I thought she just did a great job burying people. We made some mistakes. There were people on their team that their other post players, none of their post players are perimeter shooters. We weren't supposed to be guarding them on the perimeter. We were supposed to be sandwiching Pierre front and back and not letting the ball go in there. So we made some mental mistakes, but they spaced the floor, and give them credit. I mean, Pierre worked to get position. She got position. They threw the ball in there. She turned and scored. It was really pretty simple for them. And then that opened up the outside. It was, you got to give them credit for that third quarter. We've got to find a way to get our team to overcome that and stop those runs. And, whether that's coming up with a way to create more easy baskets in transition for our team, or whatever it is offensively, finding a way to manufacture points. We're trying to get them to move and attack and get to the free throw line, which we did a much better job in the second half, but it just wasn't happening in the third quarter. We were just holding the ball, and even when we subbed, those people went in and held the ball. So, we got to find an answer for that, and it's part of the process. We just got to grow from this.
As you mentioned, your team, can score in transition, stuff like that. I mean, is there a way to be able to get on a fast break, but still maintain keep and control the ball, and not create, not throw it away and stuff like that.
There is. I mean, it some of it comes with experience, and some of it is, you've got to be able to, as a player, you've got to be able to recognize those situations. The great thing about basketball to me is it's really, out of all the sports, team sports, it's a player's game. The players have a chance to impact the game. So, you're in transition and you have one player between you and the basket. You should be beating that player to the rim, especially the way fouls are called nowadays. You should try to go by them if you're that type of player. But if there's another one back there waiting for you and it's you against two or you against three, then just dribble through, run the offense. So we have to get better recognizing those situations. We go up and down transition drills all day long. It's just an experience thing. We've got to get better at it. KJ plays extremely hard. And I know she made a comment about going 100 miles an hour, and sometimes you're in fifth gear. Sometimes you got to downshift, slow down, and she recognizes that, and that's the first part of fixing it, is recognizing it. Very end of the game, she's trying to make a great play. And, if you really look at it at every level, the really, really good players don't force action. They take what the defense gives them. You don't have to make great plays to be a great player. You just have to make the right play. So we'll continue to focus on that, but we have to get better in that area. And if you look at, the analytics of it, we're good in transition. Our points per possession are very good in transition. We're among like top 25% in the country at points per possession in transition, but we've got to get better at it. Our problem is when we slow the ball down and we hold it, and we don't get the ball flowing, and we get no attacks in the half court, and that's what happened. SIU did a good job getting back tonight, especially in the third quarter when they were going on their run, which is easy to do when you're scoring. I mean, they were scoring at a high rate. We couldn't stop them, so their defense is set all the time, and that's when we're not scoring, and this is something we'll watch the film and see, but we're not scoring in that third quarter during that run, so we're having a harder time getting our defense set. So, maybe some of the mistakes are happening in that way. You just got to work at it and get better.
Coach, they shot 45% on the game from behind the arc. How do you kind of slow that down for
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, we have to get dramatically better in that area. Evansville is a great three-point shooting team. And right now, after tonight, I don't know, I haven't seen the numbers, but we're probably giving up 38% from the three-point line, and you can't do that. And the way we're playing, we're supposed to be up pressuring guards on the perimeter, touching them when they have the ball. So three shouldn't happen. We're switching a lot of screens, and tonight we got lost a few times, and that happens. If we're locked in mentally, those things don't happen the way we play. So that's definitely a concern. You got a player like Macklin, comes in the game 25%, goes 5 of 6. We did a great job against Central Arkansas down there. They were 1 of 10 from the three-point line. The game before that, we're at Lipscomb. They go 12 of 22. So those two games, that's 21 of 42 from the three-point line between those two teams. So even if you throw the Central Arkansas stat in there, our last three opponents are still shooting it great, and you held them to 1 of 10. So we got to do a better job defending the three, no question.
you you kind of touched on Evansville a little bit. What do you guys need to work on the most besides 3-point defense going up there this week?
Well, we've got to continue to stress the rebounding. I think we're getting a lot better in that area over the last couple of games. Defensive focus, we've been working a lot on playing late into the shot clock. There were still at Central Arkansas. We played great defense almost for the entire game for 20 seconds each possession, and then there was something happen in the fourth quarter late in several possessions that we ended up giving up layups. Tonight there were several possessions got down to the final 5 or 6 seconds where we did a pretty good job, and then they end up with a wide open shot. So we've got to work on being better, more focused for the entire shot clock until we have the ball. That's something we've been stressing, but we have to continue to do it. And we've got to understand personnel and matchups, and we've got to be able to match up in transition. So those are things we have to keep working on.